Nigeria's debt profile is now at 24.4 trillion naira, having added another 2.9 trillion naira to the old debt in the space of a year. The country's debt profile, which was at 21.7 trillion naira in 2017, has increased by 8.7%. Nigeria's debt profile since President Muhammadu Buhari came into power in 2015 as follows. We see that at 2015, 1.4 trillion naira was added. In 2016, we do not have the exact figures, but in 2017, we were able to add another 2.3 trillion naira. In 2018, 1.6 trillion naira. And 2019, the proposed figure is going to be at about 1.6 trillion naira. This would make it appear that this administration is responsible for the entire debt profile. But let's remember, let's take our minds back a bit. Now, in October of 2005, Nigeria reached a deal with the Paris Club, which included the United States, Germany, France, and other wealthy nations, that allowed it to pay off about 30 billion in accumulated debt. This was a deal that allowed us to pay $12 billion upfront and get forgiven for the remaining 18 billion. This was supposed to allow us start over. This was a move that was meant to fight poverty and was hailed as the rebound of the Nigerian economy after the several years of military rule. Well, a decade later, we're smack back where we started, with the same levels of debt. And if you look around you, City of Lagos, you would realize that not much has changed. Well, as of today, we're still under 30% debt to GDP and a little over 50% revenue to GDP. What concerns me is something I saw recently where the IMF was projecting that by 2022, debt service to GDP may be around 80%. Note that this is not including salaries, which is seeming to go up every year. Going forward, at least in the 2019 budget, there will be a split 50-50 between domestic and external borrowing. That's at least in line with the debt management strategy 2013 to 2019. But where is the money, City of Lagos? Some of this debt will still be on the books for another decade and even more. So here's my suggestion, City of Lagos. I suggest that the DMO starts to help us color code our debt profile to show who took what, when it was taken, when is the full tenure, and most importantly, what it will be used for. There are stories of governors taking loans months to when their tenure will be over. And this, of course, muddles up the story of clarity around our debt profile. I think when we have a lot more transparency around who took what and what they're meant to use it for, there might be some responsibility around debt profile going forward. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how we're going to be able to do that because everything seems to be shrouded in secrecy. But I believe that if the DMO can help us do this, at least, this is of course not to put responsibility on anybody, but at least it helps the person taking the loan know that in few years to come, everyone will know that this loan was taken by me. So using it judiciously, as we said we were going to use it for when we took it and when we got approval from the National Assembly, would be on the forefront of the person's mind. City of Lagos, let me know what your thoughts are. Send in your comments.